We are all in here together.
Video.
Burnouts.
Hey, is my ham sandwich ready? Sit down, son, man. Go ahead. Get out. You get your money out of the restroom right now. Don't lie that way. Don't lie that way. Okay, here's your money. Hey, forget the sandwich.
Welcome. This week on the Video Burnouts, we score a real low blow. He's Leo Fong, a martial arts expert who holds the explosive power of lightning in his hands, lethal weapons ready to strike at a moment's notice. Fong answers the call to battle as the streets of San Francisco explode with action. When a wealthy businessman needs to rescue his daughter from the grasp of a mind-controlling cult, he knows who to call: Leo Fong. Fong wastes no time in assembling an awesome display of firepower, recruiting an underworld all-star team featuring the toughest vigilantes and mercenaries ready to do battle with a ruthless array of crazed cult followers. Wong and his troops are ready. They prepare and strike first with a deadly low blow. Well, fellas, I'd say that's a pretty fair description. What do you think?
I like the, what's it say in the, flip that over real quick. The, play by the rules and you will lose.
Yeah, I forgot to read that.
That's why you got to give him a low blow.
Good catch, good catch.
That was pretty accurate, other than the Arsenal part, the crackpot team of vigilantes.
San Francisco.
Yeah, at least not any San Francisco it's ever been portrayed in any of the notable movies in San Francisco.
Fair points, but compared to some of the descriptions we've read, it was far more honest than
Agreed.
average, I would say.
Yeah, takes place in the world's dustiest shack-ridden town.
Stockton, California, apparently.
Oh, well, there you go. Yeah, I think they should have added that, but yeah, it's a solid one. It's a solid one.
But speaking of deception, we just got to tackle this first. The cover, this Franken gentleman on the cover, who may or may not actually exist, is nowhere in the movie. There's no one who looks like him or acts like him or talks like him. This has nothing to do with the movie, and that's always a wonderful sign.
I think that's Cameron Mitchell.
Oh, yeah, you're right. But with the sunglasses and the robes, you can't really tell.
You can't tell that he's got a hot bod.
Looks really long.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. It's obviously the body was on another shot, and then they photoshopped in the arm, but then that didn't look tough enough. So then the hand's like 4 times too big for the forearm.
This fist is the size of like a Christmas hand.
And then the
It is
gun's like
ginormous.
3 feet behind him, but kind of in his hand. You know, it's there is no gun.
There is no gun.
Oh, that's
It
the
looks
whole
like there
time I
should
thought
be,
that.
though.
Yeah, whatever.
And then to make the body look bigger, they made the head a little smaller. So, yeah, it's a great box. It's a great cover.
This guy was definitely put together by a committee, no doubt
It's
about it.
young Leo Fong.
It's how I look before I look in the mirror. every day. Like, oh, I lost so much weight in my sleep.
It's the cover to Jay's autobiography.
Just everybody comes in and I'm looking in the mirror like this. Low blow. You gotta think it, and then you'll be it.
So pretty awesome one.
Yeah, all
Oh,
things
it's
considered, this one's a
fantastic.
lot of fun.
This one has, I'm not going to call it a problem, but it has the exact opposite technique of the last movie we did, Twisted Issues, where in Twisted Issues, somebody will say something, and then we cut to the response, and then they pause, and then they reply, and then just back and forth, back and forth. In this one, not only do they cut out all that dead space, but they seem to just chop the beginning and ends off of scenes. So it just keeps fucking moving the entire time. Nothing ever settles in this movie.
It kind of felt like was the ending of Cocaine Wars just started into this. You know?
Yeah.
That's what it felt like.
5 years or 10 years after that guy had gone back to the States.
Did anybody actually time it? I'm going to guess 4 minutes of the film doesn't have a soundtrack score going over it.
That sounds right.
I didn't
yeah.
time it, but I would bet money on that.
At one point, I reached over to turn up the audio, and I realized that I was trying to turn up the vocals or the dialogue over the score. It's like, well, yeah, I'm stuck in this. It's just not going to help. Fantastic.
Yeah, really fantastic. Let's just keep it moving.
It's like they got Steve Vai's little brother to do the score, and he just plays just like him. Like, you don't have to play all the time. Have you seen my uncle play? He just plays the whole time. It's like, oh, okay. Well, it sounds like a score. So,
has any action hero ever been more casual around violence than Leo Fong?
Relaxed and not just cynical, but just kind of indifferent. You know,
utterly, and if not, just like kind of enjoying it, like with a smirk. Like the movie opens with like the classic Dirty Harry opening of a robbery going on that our intrepid detective must stop, and he kind of just puts on a jacket, checks his gun,
checks the bullets,
and then he saunters out. I'm going to go down to the deli, and then he just gets in there.
He's taking his time. Like, you feel like, I thought it was in the lobby of the place he was at. Like he was in the back room of the restaurant.
I think I thought that he was on the second story of whatever building he's in his office, and he was just looking down across the street at the ground floor deli and observing the robbery from there, and he decided, oh, well, I want some sandwiches anyway. I'll go foil this robbery.
Yeah, I couldn't tell if he had just decided to go down there to foil the robbery, or if he actually had ordered a sandwich and he just wanted to go pick it up.
No,
and,
he orders the sandwich when he walks in the door, because that's I'll have a food, whatever. And they're like, get on the floor. And then, as with all the action sequences in the movie, there's only like maybe, I don't want to focus on the time period here, but 2 minutes of the movie, the fighting makes sense. Like,
yeah,
everything, or even the plot itself. Like, you're constantly like, oh yeah, well, that obviously just happened. He got that gun and shot the guy in the corner or whatever, and then he looks at the guy behind the counter and he's like, I don't need that sandwich. It turns around and walks out.
Master of the one-liner. You know what? I don't need that sandwich.
His name's Jack Chan?
Joe Wong.
Yeah, but his character name in the movie is
Jack. That's his name.
Yeah, but when he's pretending to be a journalist later in the movie, he calls himself Jack Chan. I wonder if that's a dig at you-know-who.
Yeah, that's...
I didn't even think of that. That's really funny. But no, his real name is Leo Fong, but his character's name is Joe Wong, just in case he got confused.
Leo Wong, Joe Fong. Yeah, anyone can remember that probably.
Yeah, and then I think he also plays like James Long in some other movies. He's got a real naming convention for himself.
Okay, so he foils the robbery, and then he gets called into the police station, and the cops are mad at him for his vigilante justice.
So the police station's like down across town. There's no lead in why he would be at the police station, because the cops don't come to the restaurant, and then he's just in there talking to two cops, and they're like, oh, apparently he was formerly a cop.
Apparently.
It just opens with, we can't hire you again. Like, again, they just cut the beginning and ends off all these scenes. Like, and he goes, I saved some people's lives. It's like, God damn it. Like,
I should nail you to the wall.
Yeah.
I ought to nail you to the wall is what he said.
He's like asking for his gun and his badge, but then he gives him the gun back.
It's exactly what I was thinking. It's the only scene like that where the cop goes, well, give me my gun. They're like, nah, okay, here's your gun back.
Wong, you seem to have forgotten. You don't work for us anymore. I'd have nailed your ass to the wall.
I saved a couple of lives, Chief.
So help me God, you're gonna push me too far. Get the hell out of here.
My gun. You boys have a good day.
And he is the filthiest private detective ever. His car is a total piece of shit, and also probably the best character of the entire movie.
I did get a kick out of the parking.
The most reliable actor.
I genuinely laughed about how everywhere he parks, he just parks up on the curb, and he's always getting police tickets.
Runs into the concrete pillars.
Concrete
when there's no reason to do that.
And then his car never starts, but the way he fixes it is just get a tire iron and just like gently just like pat the engine a little bit. Just
Would you never drive anything built in the 70s? That's how it worked, man.
Man, he doesn't even like hit it. He's just like, nah.
Yeah, you just tapped around and then you sprayed lighter fluid over the whole thing. And then you hope you don't flood it out when you go to start it, man.
Gives it a solid kick and then he's good to go.
So, okay, he leaves the police station and Then it cuts to the cult scene of the, or no, wait, we meet the father of the daughter in the cult, right?
Yeah, Troy Donahue.
Who's
Yeah.
somebody, he's rich and powerful something. I never caught on to what his job was or who he was.
He owns something industry.
He's wealthy.
He was a wealthy guy.
Yeah, generic wealthy
he
man.
says our lead character says, "I'm expensive, but I'm worth it, or I get the job."
Here's
done."
what happens is the father sees Leo Fong foil a purse snatching.
Yes.
And
yeah, I forgot
realizes,
about the purse snatching.
and realizes this is the guy who can save my daughter from the religious cult.
So a purse snatching is happening, and he chases him around the corner. This is after he leaves the police station,
Mm-hmm.
and where another thing is just violence is everywhere in this city.
They
by the
just
way.
follow.
So-
It just
so
follows him wherever he goes.
There's a scene where he just gets out of the car. Well, we'll get to that. But the purse snatching happens. He goes around the corner, and then the guy square up with him to fight. But the first thing he does is use the purse as a weapon. What do you do? I mean, it's silly
That's not
in itself.
good
but
purse snatching
it
right
just
there.
doesn't work. Like
That is
on
poor
multiple
purse
levels. One, you're
snatching.
about to lose the thing that you're stealing, and two, that's not a good weapon against anybody.
anyone.
You know,
an old woman or a small child.
it's like kind of something funny you do. Hey, get away, you creep, you know. It's kind of, you might as well be shooing them with a broom. But then the fight just really happens. A couple punches are thrown, somebody's kicked probably, and then it's over.
And he,
Kind of confusing, but fun.
And Troy Donahue riding around his limo goes, I think we can use him. Having only seen this guy do this one thing of kind of rescue a purse and just immediately, no, that's my man. I'm wealthy, but I'm going for that guy. I love the scene right before the purse snatching starts when he goes to the restaurant. And
I forgot about the soup.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Okay, this is not a vegetarian friendly film.
Trigger warning to vegans
It
out
is.
there.
Maddie was watching it with me, which
Oh, man.
she was on her phone. You know, I was like, well, I'm going through this movie. You know, I don't want to make you have to watch it. I can watch it somewhere else. You know, which is about the best you can do for these type of movies.
These
And,
like vanity projects have one thing in common. Like The Room has this where the main character, whose vanity project it is, goes to just like a business and everybody there knows them and everybody there loves them.
Yes.
And he goes to this restaurant. A couple of like younger, attractive women are kind of like making eyes at him. The waiter knows him. He orders his favorite chicken soup. And then we cut to the chef in the back gleefully hacking at a chicken
he
going,
pulls the
"Oh,
chicken
Mr.
out. He
Wong,
holds the chicken
Mr.
out to show
Wong,
him it."
Yeah. Yeah. Have your chicken soup and just starts hacking away at it with the butcher's cleaver, all to make him chicken leg soup. Chicken
And
foot.
they bring it out, and there's some weird glances and some nudges,
But he's really digging that chicken
Yeah.
foot soup.
which we should point out. He is like 58 years old, is what we were talking about earlier, right?
At the time that came out.
Which is the girl's giving him the looks, and he's supposed to be this young, tough guy.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
He's not Clint Eastwood circa Dirty Harry. I'll say that much.
No.
But this poor guy can't get a meal. His ham sandwich was interrupted earlier. And then his chicken soup is interrupted as he eats like the first chicken foot. Boom, purse snatching, and he is out the fucking door just to deal with it. This man is ready for violence at all times, which apparently you have to be in Stockton, California.
Where violence is everywhere.
Violence is everywhere. No longer exists because the entire population is dead.
So it's at this point in the movie that's one of my favorite scenes where we get to meet Cameron Mitchell and get a little taste of his. I think I wrote it down somewhere.
Cameron Mitchell playing Keith Rainier.
I was thinking more of Osho.
It
It felt more like an Osho type thing, but yeah.
It's the universal Enlightenment movement at Unity Village. Now that sounds great, right? What could be wrong with that?
Come closer, my child. What is your name, dear?
Karen. Karen Templeton.
Templeton International?
My father.
Welcome to my family. From now on, your name will be Purity.
Thank you.
Purity.
God bless you, my child.
What indeed? So Cameron Mitchell, okay, like we just have to go through this. First of all, like he looks completely ridiculous in that robe with those ridiculous sunglasses. And is that a Star of David that's supposed to be tattooed
It's
on
a
his
tattoo
face?
on his cheek.
Plus a red dot.
Yeah, so he's got the Jewish thing and the Hindu thing, like he's covering all his bases, I guess.
And
For a
he's
minute, I
blind.
thought that it was our lead character playing the cult guy also. That's how indiscernible he is. You know, I was like, oh, they put the tattoo on the cheek to make it look like it's somebody else, you know.
Yeah, so like how drunk do you think Cameron Mitchell was? Blood alcohol level average.
He looks, at the very least, at one point I thought he was in the middle of having a heat stroke. The scene where, because he's not the villain, really. He comes off as more like he actually cares about peace. And
He's blind.
He's blind. He seems like the reason they would call it what'd they call it again? The business?
The
Universal
Universal
Enlightenment movement at Unity Village.
He seems like the philosophy, the bits of it he spouts seem more in line with that. It's
Right.
actually the evil woman karma
Oh, man.
that's like manipulated the whole situation. But there's one part where he's like sitting in a chair saying things like, the meek shall inherit the earth. It's just a smattering of Bible verses, and she's yelling them out in a megaphone, and Cameron Mitchell looks like he is severely uncomfortable. Just
That's
really
my
looks like he's
favorite-
having a heat stroke.
That's my favorite scene of the film because there's only like 15 people that are sitting there on the ground, and throughout the film, he's got different littered, perfect, just enlightening enlightenment.
Pearls of wisdom.
I mean, it's just like water running over a stream finds a hard meandering path, but eventually gets to the ocean, and everybody goes, "Oh!" And it's great. But in that scene, he'll be saying like the water running over the pebble, and there's 15 people sitting around him, and then she's got this bullhorn, the water running over the pebble, and then we'll find a hard path. We'll find a hard, and it's so ridiculous. I mean, I guess they're supposed to have this giant cult.
The master says,
I sense and I feel your suffering.
I sense and I feel your suffering.
Suffer no more.
Suffer no more.
And that's what made me think of the Rajneesh, the period, or Osho, most people know, is that period of his silence where the woman brought in the AK-47s and started having all the Bentleys donated and everything just turned crooked. It was like that, but they didn't really want to make him in a vow of silence because that would have taken actual dialogue in the film that they weren't going to do. So they just have him mumble it out. And yeah, he's on death's door in that scene.
It makes me think of the Cheesemakers bit in Life of Brian, where no one can hear Jesus because he's so far away, so they keep misinterpreting what he's saying.
Yes.
It's like that, but it's the opposite. You can hear him, he just doesn't have anything interesting to say. My favorite part of that scene is the one guy not paying attention, who's just wearing a red shirt, and to make him pay attention, these giant buff guys in tiny tank tops just keep shoving him, just
Harder
giving him
and
little
harder.
shoves, and then they're like, hey, you get over there, deal with him. And the other guy goes over there and just shoves him a little bit too. Like, hey, pay attention. Hysterical.
By that point, he's actually kind of paying attention, but his feet are out in front. And then they're basically kicking the shit out of him. Like,
just like push him in his shoulders. Hey.
That is one of the dumbest cults I've ever seen portrayed in a movie. What was the point? Is they had to listen to the propaganda and then pretend to farm with these sticks?
Okay, we'll pretend that the field hasn't already been plowed by some heavy machinery. We'll pretend that they're not already out there doing rows in a field that already has rows in it. Those are the most inept farmers I've ever seen in my life. And for the cult to be pushing that, there's always somebody standing bored in the background. At every seat, there's like 4 people that are kind of just like, they're not even trying we need you to try. No, it's just like they're in a daze.
You poke
almost.
that dirt better.
And I thought maybe that's supposed to be part of it with the way that so the woman's going along with it. That's the daughter they're trying to find in the cult. She's going along with it, and it seems like she's signed her life, given her gold. They do this whole little, she's got to give up all of her belongings and signs her life away on this thing. But then they show her in the hospital where she's getting medication and she won't take it. But not
that wasn't a hospital. That was the medical facility
on the place. That's what I'm saying.
Compound.
It's like
they called it a hospital. It didn't look like much of one.
Maybe they're all out there supposed to be dazed under this drug euphoria.
But they didn't show anyone else being drugged.
Yeah, it
like
made
that.
no sense that that's how you would handle your rich heiress. You think you would make her like you cater to her a bit so she signs over all her fortune, but instead they're just like, fuck it, tie her down and drug her up.
Maybe they already got her to sign everything away, so she was expendable at that point.
And she was already there and excited though. She was like part of it.
Yeah,
That did make
like
sense.
I never saw her misbehave from the cult point of view. Did you? Did I
She
miss
disappears entirely until she comes back for the hospital scene. As far as I could tell.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe she's just blonde woman in the background. Very possible.
something?
Yarakunda!
Yarakunda!
Explains the well-laid grooves that they've been able to put out. It's a very powerful saying.
And they're only on like a 2x2 space the entire time. Like they're the most inept farmers
Yeah.
like ever. They're like as inept as we're supposed to imagine like the pilgrims coming over here not knowing how to farm or fish. That's how we told whenever we were like in third grade, like, oh really? We're gonna go travel to a new world without any functioning ability to make food. This cult was fucked if it wasn't for their donors. Because if they were raising their food, they were.
Well, they've got an heiress. They've got clearly enough people to donate something. Hospital wing, prison, armed guards, outfits, and yet they're still just in like the dustiest shacks and just dustiest place, highlighted by the moment when Karma goes, Papa needs his chair, bring it out. And they bring out just like a ratty like lazy boy for him to sit on.
I'm not sure. Did anybody else get the vibe that, especially whenever you get to the big battle with the car becoming a convertible, we'll say that now.
Yeah.
We'll get to that.
It felt like every location they were at was just like they drove around in the country. Like, oh, that place looks abandoned. Like the way everything was
no
nailed
one will
up.
call the cops. if
All
we
the
shoot
windows
here.
had boards over them and stuff. It was. I don't think they got location permits.
Every diner, every place looked like it was on the verge of falling apart.
Maybe that's just how that town looks.
Yeah,
you know?
man. I would have sworn it was in Ohio.
Yeah, right.
So when John Templeton, who's the Troy Donahue, the rich character, hires Leo Fong, he goes to he sees him stop this purse snatcher. So this incredibly rich man is going to hire someone to find his daughter. So he goes to Leo Fong's office, which has the greatest door I've ever seen in one of these movies. It says James Wong or Joe Wong, private investigating, bounty hunting, conflict management, knife fight lessons, world headquarters. Forgive me if I'm pronouncing this wrong. Wei Kun Do Association is this giant block of text on his door. And like scenes like this have been in like tons of film noir movies where the detective is really ratty looking. But they always start with where the rich man walks in, sees how ratty the dude is and says something akin to, oh, I was looking for Joe Smith. Is this his office? Are you the one who cracked the big diamond heist from 4 years ago and that found the Lindbergh baby? Are you sure I have the right place? In this one, none of that happens. The only thing Troy Donahue has to go off of is that this guy stopped a purse snatcher, and when he meets him, his offer is covered in crap. There's like there's a shirt on the chair.
He's in a wife beater.
He's just in a wife beater. He's like, oh, send him in. I'll talk to him now. And then has the audacity to tell this guy, I'm very expensive. And then later on, Templeton tells him, I'm on the verge of calling the FBI or the police. They could handle this. And Leo Fong's like, no, they could not enter that compound. It's like, no, you should call the FBI.
Yes.
I thought like the reason that they weren't going to call the FBI was because either like the FBI would be too gung-ho. You know, like Leo Fong didn't want to create like a Waco situation. Yeah. But Leo Fong just goes in there and fucking massacres people. So there's really no reason the feds should not be involved in this at some point before a knife fight lesson instructor, Leo Fong, gets the call.
Not in Stockton, California.
No, that's all they got. Even the government doesn't go there.
Which this leads to the second favorite scene. Every scene's my favorite this movie. Up until like the last 15 minutes, which becomes kind of a snooze in its own way. But anyways, he pulls up to that knife fight. So the city is so insane of violence that he just strolls up to what looks like two gangs fighting.
But there are people gambling on the outcome.
Cheering it.
So
And
it's
they-
like a human cockfight with knives or something.
They've got two, each person has a knife, and they fight for approximately this long before he, what's the lead character's name? What are we calling him? I keep thinking of what Jack Chan.
Leo Fong.
Leo
Fong
Fong.
was
Sorry.
good enough.
So Leo Fong talks to the guy that's there with them and says, "That guy looks great. Give him my card." And then goes off. And that is all we're given to find out that he is now putting together a mercenary team.
And we don't even find that out until years later in the fucking movie.
Yes.
Or it feels like years later. Because he also has the scene where he's training for boxing. And they're like, oh, it's an underground boxing ring for rich people. And this one dude, whose name I don't remember, is supposed to throw the fight. But he doesn't throw the fight. Instead, he beats up the rich people, the mafia, I assume, and runs away, which is just another excuse to be like, oh, a tough guy. I'll need him an hour into the movie. Let's just introduce him now. Why not?
Because they're going to have a tough man contest so he can recruit. Do you remember the tough man
So
contest?
we'll get to that. I mean, the tough big competition is worth a lengthy discussion. All 30 seconds that'll take to explain it. But the scene that you're talking about with the boxing, that's not where he throws the guy he gets from throwing the bikers out.
No. This scene is earlier. It takes place in like a gym. And and Leo Fong's like hitting the heavy bag. And then there are two dudes who you think just are having like not a sparring session basically, but you find out, no, it's an underground fighting ring for rich people who like to pay to watch just people beat the shit out of each other. And that one of the guys was supposed to throw the fight, but he didn't. And then he just beats up the mafia members. That never comes up again. It's just an excuse to enter one more violent person that Leo Fong's eventually going to need later on in the movie.
These people that they show, you are introduced to them at like the 40-minute mark, and then you don't see them again until basically the credits.
End. That's that's generous.
You see
I feel
him
like
in
the
a van,
20-minute mark.
Which is, and there's no dialogue between him and them.
No.
It's just he sees them and then he assumes that they're on board with whatever he's doing. Here's my card.
He goes to that diner where two drunken cowboys show up. And his first line into them is, "Oh, you again."
Oh, no, not you guys again.
Never seen them before.
Were they the purse snatchers?
I don't think so. I mean,
No.
if they were, I didn't catch that.
They might have been, I guess.
I really have no idea.
Because one of the purse snatchers was wearing a cowboy hat.
It might have been then. Yeah, I don't know. But the mop boy beats both of them up, and then the boxer beats them up in this really poorly done cut because it looks like the mop boy's still beating them up. Leo Fong just smirks as he does at all acts of serious violence. And
Drops
then
the cowboy hat on their head.
drops the cowboy hat in his face and just, good work. And leaves. Master of the one-liner. Really, just cranks him out.
Okay, so is this where he goes to try and rescue the girl by himself?
Yeah, sure, we can talk about that. He's the reporter, or he pretends to be a reporter.
A reporter named Jack Chan.
Jackie Chan, watch out.
Pulls up to the field where you can see them all farming real close
Oh.
by, which is the worst made planned escape in the history of films. Like, even zany comedies where it's like stupid would not make any less sense than this guy who is in the middle of a field. And it's the guy with the red shirt that's already been bullied for not paying attention. He's not on board. And he decides at 2:00 in the afternoon is the time for his clean break. There are two bodybuilder type guys with assault rifles and a guy on a horse.
On the horse.
That is muscular. And he takes off at what looks about a 1.5-mile farm sprint away from them. And not even at wide leg stance. Like, he's kind of like, mall walking it almost away from him. You're going to outrun a horse and trained rifleman? Okay.
Not likely.
I imagine they had the actor do that because that is a seriously nasty spill that guy takes. Like, every time I watch somebody when they run through those furrowed rows, like Joaquin Phoenix in The Master or something, I'm always like, man, that must be hard to do that. Well, clearly it is, because as soon as that horseman jumps off and has a very soft landing, I imagine that guy's the stuntman. He kind of tackles the actor and the actor just Whoa!
His head
smashes
smashes
his face
into, like,
the
the
ground.
furrow.
Have you guys ever spent time in a field like that?
I mean, not a considerable amount of time, but I've been in them.
Not
As,
so
as a
much.
kid, we used to have like dirt clod fights.
Yeah,
We'd
yeah.
go out and hit each other and stuff. And just when you trip in that stuff and you hit it, it's like, yeah, there's the soft dirt, but in it is all these giant, massive amounts of rocks. The way he hits that, I'm like, he is tasting shit for a while.
Yeah. It is a brutal stunt moment.
Oh, we didn't have the camera rolling. We need to do that a second time. No.
Can we do it again just for coverage?
Well, he's dead, so it's a good
Yeah.
thing we only got him in long shots.
But so he's making that sprint, but somehow Leo Wong's able to drive up to the road right there by them,
just
a
watch.
little ways off, and watch it go and happen, which I don't know. I mean, I guess the cult couldn't really pick their location, but they're supposed to be on this compound that's unpenetrable, but you see where they're working in the fields like 20 feet from the house. And then the road's right, it's just a weird little.
They don't even have like a fence or anything.
No, it's like a chain link that they walk up, they drop it down, and somebody gets in the car with an assault rifle.
Yeah, what's the point of having a guard post on a place like that?
Where you
could
can
literally
drive
just
around the
walk
side, yeah.
into. I mean, you say that guy's escape was terrible, which I obviously it was, but I feel he only had to run like 50 yards and he's clear. He's now back in civilization.
I mean, wouldn't you try to do, like Cool Hand Luke it or
Oh
something?
yeah, no, I'm totally
I'm
with you.
shaking
That
the
is a
bush, boss.
dumb
I'm shaking
escape.
the bush.
It's a
Shaking
dumb
the bush,
escape.
boss.
Because
I'm shaking the bush.
The guy that's up there on the platform that's their lookout guard falls asleep twice. So it's, you would know that being there. Oh, that guy falls asleep all the time. I'll just sneak out at nighttime. It just seems like they.
Oh, but remember how? Are we to the point where he gets captured? No, we're not to that point yet.
We're at all the points. We're at
I
all.
say we just
whatever
go, and
pops
then
in your
we'll-
mind, just
so
throw it
we
out
can
there.
So he
organize
thinks he's
it
sneaking
later.
around the compound, but really they have the drop on him and they jump him and bash him over the head with something.
Oh, can you imagine going to a place? So he says, "I'm a reporter. We're going to show it." It is the guy that's showing him the place. Did you guys notice his tone? It is the most uninteresting. Oh, so over here we have 200 acres, and on this
My
side,
favorite lines of the movie, which was something about 800 acres of asparagus, and I'm like, "What? You are not growing 800 acres of anything, let alone asparagus, in that Dust Bowl fucking field."
So just stay as close to me as possible. Just follow me, Mr. Chan.
800 acres.
and over here you'll see there's a door over there. And then
He's just lulling Leo Fogg into a sleep. So
Yes.
the guy hiding just slightly behind like a power transformer or something can bop him once on the head and have him done. He's
Yeah.
pretty much completely out.
All his kung fu or karate didn't help him in that situation.
And-
Please finish.
In this
Thought.
scene, we find out Karma's like one defining trait, and that's that she loves circus peanuts. She's eating them
Is that
constantly
what she's
throughout the
eating?
video.
I was trying to figure out what the hell it was that she was eating. I was imagining it was one of those like fun dip sticks.
That dip was fun.
I don't know if it's circus peanuts, but that's kind of what
It's
it looked
some
like,
kind
and
of
it's
candy.
hilarious.
It's some kind of candy.
I really just like to imagine her. Circus peanut, Mr. Wong.
She must be sick of eating them because like there's one scene where you see her and she like really takes a bite out of it, but from then on it's kind of like she's just kind of getting a wet.
Yeah. Which also explains why they would be circus peanuts. You can't have more than one of those before going into diabetic shock.
That's true.
So he gets captured and thrown into the cell with Red Shirt Man. And go ahead.
No, I had nothing. I was just want to interrupt you.
Good job.
So he gets captured and thrown into a cell with Red Shirt Man. So they get to meet, which is followed by a scene where he gets kind of tortured, which is pretty much just where Karma owns him pretty much. She like knees him in the stomach. You've got two huge muscly dudes around, which you think like, oh, our tough action hero is about to be put down by these massive men. Nah, Karma just kind of knees him. And then
From 2 inches back, she like puts her knee to here, and then kind of just does that.
yeah, it does. It's not like it does not read as an effective blow, and then unhooks him, unhandcuffs him, and he just kind of collapses on the floor, which is good because we really needed a replay of that scene again, where he gets drugged to the prison room and meets Red Shirt Man one more time.
And then, how do him and Red? Oh yeah, that's right.
Lights the paper on
him
fire.
and Red Shirt Man do one of my favorite movie tricks, the old flaming wastebasket escape trick. It's a classic. And
Talk about a well thought out one.
Hey, guard! Guard, fire in here! Hey, fire! Yeah, come on, fire! Open up! Hey, who's going up? Fire!
it works every time.
That's a good point. I don't even understand why they needed it.
It's just paper in the thing in a trash bin, and he lights it on fire. But it must be a lot of paper because he's able to like. And he holds the flame up in front of the window, so it's like the flame's coming out.
They're like,
so the
"Guard,
trash can's like
fire,
at the window.
fire, guard,
you know,
fire."
Fire, help us out of here. And they're like, oh my God, yeah.
It's the opposite of, well, see, Red Shirt Man learned his mistake from before. It went too far the other way. Because I think that escape could just be like, oh, I feel sick. And then they open the door. And then they beat him up. Because that's basically all they're trying to do is get the guard to open the door. But they're like, no. They'll never believe we're sick. They have to believe there's a raging inferno going on right behind the door. So here's flames right at the little peephole thing. And then to make him open it. I thought they were going to throw the flames in his face. Or like put the flaming trash can on top of him or something. But the flames really never enter it into again. It's just a visual prop. So that way the guard thinks that the fire is really raging in there.
But why would the guard care?
I mean, I guess, well, you saw that compound. I feel that place is a tinderbox.
It really was. Yes, it's
Well,
wood everywhere.
Was the guard going to put the fire out with his gun?
He was going to smother it with his body. For,
matter of fact, the tinderbox aspect of it, we can get to that. There's wood everywhere, which we could just, whenever we get to the two guards he takes down in the late next scene with the convertible car, it comes into play, you know.
Yeah.
So just everything's wood there. Everything's just and one piece of scaffolding that you never see above the second step up. You're just supposed to know that somebody's up on top of this thing, but you just watch them climb up and then you watch them climb down. Then they escape out the car.
Which is hilarious, which is so wonderful. They go to, get in the car. It's escape time. Oh, this piece of shit doesn't start again. So they got to get out and open it. And like, he's got to tap at it while Red Shirt Man goes and actually does the action part and beats up the guy and gets a gun. But thankfully, a few tire iron taps on the engine get it going and boom, they're out of there.
When he jumps in the car, so they're escaping a compound. He throws the rifle into the back seat and then lays down on the floor. Like, you're the worst co-pilot in the history of a getaway. Like, you had a chance of like scattering them off or doing something. Oh, no. Just, I'll be over here.
I'm going to put the gun as far away from you as possible, and then I'm going to hide.
They'll never let me leave, but they'll let you just drive out of here. Just go.
So he gets Red Shirt Man back to town, where they have this touching moment where Red Shirt Man's like, I think I'll go back home. I don't know if they'll take me back, though. And Leo Fong says, no, you should. That's basically it. Except Red Shirt Man gives him all the details of the compound.
And recommends that he should attack on Sunday because people are more relaxed on Sunday.
Yes.
This from a man, as Jay pointed out, whose only escape plan was run.
Daytime, surrounded.
Okay, so then Red Shirt Man and Leo Fong part ways, and this leads to one of my favorite scenes in the movie, the church meeting with the businessman guy and Leo Fong.
Utterly useless. Yes. Yes.
It lasts, I think, a total of 12 seconds, this scene. Maybe 12 seconds, where it's the shortest, sweetest update of a, detective to his client I think I've ever seen.
You all right?
Just lie.
Like I said, do what you have to do. Money is no problem. I just want results.
I always imagine that the Troy Donahue just being like, "Yeah, I said get her ass back. What are you doing here?" Like,
He's walking out like
need an update on that.
That definitely could have been an email.
Yeah, a text. That could have been a text. Found
Daughter,
her.
She's at the place we thought she was at.
Yeah.
Backtrack. Whenever how he finds down the cult is whenever he tracks down her friend.
Yeah.
And she's like, check with Kate.
Yeah.
Like, oh yeah, Kate.
I'm so glad you brought that up because he goes. The mom's like, go check with Kate, and then Kate's like, go check with the university, and then he goes there and finds out that there's already an entire class being taught on this.
There's so many points in this film that I was like, we gotta talk about.
Yeah,
this thing.
yeah.
So he walks into the college class, and they're not only a class talking about cults, they are at the sentence before in the Enlightenment University, whatever it is. They're like right, and he just leans against the wall, all cool.
Yeah.
Just like taking it in. But they're talking about how this one specific cult that he's looking at is a specific problem. But it's the timing is so stupid. It's just like
it's the most like ham-handed exposition too, because all he does is explain that Karma, the woman, is the real villain. And then later on Leo Fong's like, I want to go there. He's like, oh, well, nobody's been there. It's like, well, how do you know the inner workings of it, man?
And then he says something about how if you go there, you might not come back, like Jonestown, something like that.
Yeah. But a whole college course taught. Y'all don't understand. Like, we're just seeing like the startup of this chapter of the cult. This is already like a global phenomenon at this point.
So,
and if you were a college course teaching on cults, the likelihood of you walking into the 12 seconds that you talk about this one in the whole course, he just walks in right on the sentence like, oh, this is exact information I came in here for.
movie magic.
So great.
So this leads to the tournament, right?
We have the another just a brief moment of just added violence where Leo Fong goes to like a place and there's a poker game and a giant man
named Fuzzy
smashes everything up, to which Leo Fong again smirks because it's funny.
He's my kind of guy.
Yeah. And then the giant guy walks out and Leo Fong has the idea, tell them to put an ad in the paper for a tough man competition. The winner will get $25,000.
Where did the fight idea come from? And why $25,000? Like, what? Nothing is explained beyond. I mean, you put two and two together as you do with every scene of this film. It's like you get a minor soft puzzle with every scene. Like, how does this piece fit with this piece? And you got to kind of go, the round edge goes over here, and that's how. So you're putting two. You kind of start getting the idea he's going to put a gang together because he's dropped the business card, which is the only real hint at it. And then he's going to put this ultimate fighting thing. He is broke. They're constantly reminding you in this film that he has no money.
But remember, the rich guy said money is no object.
Do they pay the winner, though?
Well, you assume they do. They never showed that.
I was thinking whatever they won, they were going to be like, okay, now here's how you're going to get the money.
Yeah.
There's this cult that we have to break into.
I think that's basically how it happens. Nobody gets any money until the job is done. There's no way Leo Fong's got $25,000 to throw out to the tough man.
Okay, you're right, because the boxer guy didn't want to do it because he was like, you didn't pay me. But did the boxer guy win the tournament?
No. When we get to the ragtag group, only a few of them were actually seen at the tough man competition. A couple of them are randos, the female wrestler and the giant and Fuzzy.
I like how everybody that fights in the tournament is matched up with somebody, like two ninjas fight each other with sais and two knife fighters match up. Yeah. And then the champion of them all, which is a really cool kind of wrestling scene, is the female actor is the winner of the whole. Is she the winner of the whole thing? I think she is.
I think so.
Because he throws two more people down in the pit and she beats the hell out of them. But that's total world wrestling situation. Like just amateur. Followed around and double-handed hits.
I couldn't understand the structure of the tough man competition because step one is
dig a hole.
Weapons. Dig a hole. Step one. Step two, beer. Step three, invite those drunken cowboys over.
Yes.
But so like all the tournament parts are weapon fighting, ninjas, karate, erotic mud wrestling, extremely erotic mud wrestling,
Very erotic.
mixed gender fighting, and then mixed gender handicap fighting in seemingly no tournament style. Like the ninjas fight, but then I never see a ninja fight again. And the weapons guys fight. I never see a weapons guy fight again. They're not fighting the woman at the end.
I think maybe it's like gymnastics. There was a scoring system up there, and the 10 out of 10,
Yeah.
audience involvement,
You get point for creativity as well as form.
Yes, style points.
choice of music, which everybody chose the same slamming lead guitar. Well, I want a Kenny Loggins setting, but like Van Halen. Oh yeah, we have this line 6 over here. You could probably turn that around twice.
Can I get a cheaper Kenny Loggins?
Yes. Everybody had that. Anybody ever had an electric guitar, that little blue one with the 2 pedals? That was definitely the setting. Whatever. It was somewhere in those 12, it can make it sound like any guitar. Oh man, we've come a long way. That was a shit pedal that I had to be in bands in middle school with 1 million people. And that's what you hear the entire time.
It's kick-ass.
So, back to the fight.
Woman wins. And then they go to a bar where there's another giant dude who throws out a bunch of other giant dudes, which the buff woman says, like, he ain't so tough. Scene. And and then finally we get to the Dirty Dozen moment. The crack crew, which obviously there were hints that this was coming, but it was a total surprise to me. I did not know the reason for really any of it.
And they're in a van. There's like no, here's what we're going to do moment. Do they talk it over?
They do. They have a moment where they're in like an office where he lays out like the blueprints with all the buildings numbered.
Oh, with all the music going over it.
Yeah. That's where the boxer goes like, I don't get paid, or no pay, no job. And then Leo Fong says, no job, no pay. And that settles it. Well, no, Leo Fong has to stand up out of his chair, and the boxer, being so intimidated by Leo Fong's physique, decides he's not going to fight him.
See, another thing about the big fighting tournament, I thought it was going to be that Leo Fong jumped in and won the whole thing.
Yeah.
So he didn't have to pay anybody. That's what I thought it was going to get to. Like, he's supposed to be the world's biggest badass, and was going to get in there. It would have been so fun to do that, but nothing's happened. So...
what I thought the tough man competition was going to be, and I kind of wish it was, because he sees that giant guy at the poker thing beating up people. I thought this was going to be like Leo Fong's revenge tour, and he was going to be like, just invite all these tough men to this competition, and then I'll enter, and I'll be able to just beat the shit out of all these people I've been watching be mean to people on the streets.
But Leo Fong likes it when people are mean to people.
He does. He gets a big kick out of it.
He wants to hire them.
Oh, we can't go to the Dirty Dozen part just yet. We have to backtrack just a second because we've still got the car assault scene.
Oh,
to
yeah,
go
the
through.
convertible
he's
scene.
escaping the
Oh, no, he's at home at this point.
Okay. Here, I'm going to point out why my loss in this film, because I am excited about every part of it. What makes me very sure I'm probably on the spectrum is how much this film fucked with me, because that soundtrack plays over everything where it feels like you're in an interlude to the next scene while you're in the scene. So I constantly found myself, even though I'm watching it, like distracted, like, okay, this is that music that gets us to the dialogue part. And then I'd suddenly realize like, oh, I was zoning out while they were all talking in this moment with the music over. It really got in the way of the film for me. Like, it makes it fun, but it also, for me personally, you guys seem to not have a problem with it.
Well, it distracted me in a different way because I kept reaching for my axe and trying to play along to the thing to the point where I'd just be like, man, got to put this guitar down so I can take some notes on this stuff.
I would have thought it was harder to figure out where they were in the plot because every single location is shitty house.
Dusty, dirty place.
Yeah, is this dusty, dirty cold house, or is this Leo Fong's dusty, dirty house, or is this dusty, dirty diner? No, this is dusty, dirty poker room.
But the dusty, dirtiest of it all is the car scene.
Is the car, Leo Fong's house, where I think we find out that his secretary is actually his girlfriend
Yes.
or wife.
Oh, and speaking of which, I looked it up. That the actress who played that woman who's his secretary girlfriend is the wife of the director of the movie, and she is originally from Canada.
Classy broad.
Classy.
Great hair.
So Leo Fong is at his house, and the cult or Karma decides that they're going to take him down. And so they start sneaking up on the house. And we have this whole scene where they're hunting Leo Fong, and he starts popping out of places.
Yeah.
This is great because Leo Fong's whole tactic seems to be to hide exactly where they're looking and still surprise them somehow.
So the opening part shows the guy with the Uzi. He's going by the back window, which is covered by boards. Once again, probably not an actual house that people reside in. Then the random wood.
Yeah.
Okay?
Just leaning up against the
If
porch.
anybody ever had a house, and this guy's obviously lives a busy life, so you wouldn't have a piece of plywood leaning up just haphazardly on the porch, straight up and down where the wind would knock it over instantly, right? So you're kind of thinking that's going to be nailed in or something. And the two guys, and he comes out of his porch and he gets sense that one person's walking, and then he sees the second guy through the kind of the crack. I assume you're really giving some leeway about what's going on. It's a paint by numbers thing. It shows you the numbers and you paint them in about what's going on. And so when they're both behind the board, he does that giant karate kick. It just knocks them both down, and all pandemonium is supposed to be setting loose. And then he goes into hide and seek mode.
Yeah. It is completely unconcerned.
He hides under the grass
Hides under the grass and takes one of them out.
by grabbing their foot and tripping them as they walk past and then kicking them. But the best ones, what was that wall he jumps through?
Oh,
What
it's
is
like
that
it looks
thing?
like like bamboo, not like bamboo
leaves.
slits. Yeah, and the guy actually looks through it.
Pulls it down.
No.
Oh no, we're mixing two parts, because the part with the gun part is where he looks over that ledge.
He does it in both of them. They look in both of
Oh,
them.
okay.
I tell you, he hides where they're looking, and then he surprises them. Because that part you're talking about is my favorite moment, because the guy's sneaking past a wall, and Leo Fong pops out of the hole and hits him, and then the guy gets up, knows Leo Fong's in that hole, fires a couple shotgun shots into it, and you're like, okay, Leo Fong's gonna sneak around. Nope, Leo Fong just reaches back out of the same hole.
He
and
basically
starts just choking him.
No, so whenever he comes through the leaves, it looks like Jason Voorhees and Friday the 13th 5, or 4. Anyways, kicks straight through the door and has a hold of the guy. So out of nowhere, I was like, wasn't that wood? It looks like just like window blinds.
The
or
window
something,
blinds, exactly.
He's got really wide ones. Insane, but he hasn't killed anybody.
No.
And they all flee to the same Mercedes. Is it a Mercedes? BMW? Mercedes.
I think it's a Mercedes.
It's a Mercedes.
It's a nice car.
Especially for this film.
Oh yeah.
This is where all the budget went.
See Leo Fong's car.
He chases them and beats them, and this is the dumbest. So all of them pile into this car. He pops the hood on it. It's kind of grabs a wire out of it, pulls it out, and waves it in front
Dangles
of
it in
them, and
front of
sets
their
it on the hood.
face.
So you're stuck. Now, there's a lot of things you could do in this scenario, which would involve opening a door and getting out and running. That doesn't cross their mind at once. And randomly, it's his house. He knew that there would be a large industrial metal saw laying next to the car, right? Fires that up and goes around cutting each part of the car off.
He takes like a piece of fence
Bust
post
all
or
the
something,
windows
bust
out.
all the windows.
It's the most playful and gleeful Leo Fong is during the whole movie.
He was
He shakes the
enjoying
cap and then he's
himself.
just like, woo! Like a little kid busting each window in.
Yeah, that was great.
And then runs to the saw, which thankfully has a pair of safety goggles right next to it.
Oh,
that he
I
can
didn't even
quickly
catch
whip
that
on.
part.
Yeah, he whips them on real quick and then whoop, gets the safety goggles going. Oh man, Eric's in a violent battle himself over there.
I thought he fell asleep for a second. He was preying on a cricket.
My foot's asleep.
So anyways, he's cutting through the front slat of the door. Like it looks like he's going to go across the entire roof. And there's all the sparks flying in the car. Then he goes around to the back, he cuts through it, and you start realizing like he's not just torturing them inside of it. He's not just cutting a hole. He's going to cut off the whole thing. At some point, they could have. He's on the opposite side of the car. They should have opened a door and run out, but they never do until he peels the entire roof off, and then they jump up and climb and run off the back end of it. Like if you were going to run, you should. Anyways, very enjoyable.
The whole scene reminded me a little bit of Vibrations, with the backhoe, just a little bit.
Yeah,
except better done.
Yes, I don't know. I thought I couldn't believe he wasted that car. Like his car is fucking terrible. He should have just stolen that Mercedes.
It feels like it's like a scrapyard or something, so I'm assuming that's a totaled out. But it looks in pretty good shape.
Yeah, it looked nice. I mean, let's hope it was not all of Leo Fogg's like life insurance. He cashed in one of his life insurance policies to buy that car. But at least he's having a fun time doing it, man. He looks like a kid in a candy store during that bit.
So he cuts the roof off of the car and tosses it away with glee, and the two bad guys run away like they should have done a minute or two ago in the
hours
scene.
ago. I can't imagine you can cut the roof off a car in seconds.
And then what happens?
Then he assembles the crew, I believe, around in there, and then we get the assault on the base, on the cultist base. We finally have gotten to the last bit where we can assault it. Apparently there's a river nearby.
We get a new character in the film, which is this moatish river, which you can't really see that well. I don't know how you guys' TV looked, but mine was like, this is really dark.
Yeah.
You can tell it's water, but
also we've cut back to the cultist base, and I mean, y'all have been giving them some shit for their farming work, but those fields look awful nice and green when we actually get back to the cultist base. So I'm guessing this movie takes place over a period of like 5 months. Something like that, long enough for the asparagus to really start
a typical
sprouting.
growing season.
Yeah. But they float in on this new river. I guess that's part of the irrigation system the cultists had put in. And then the assault starts, which really seems to just be a lot of like Leo Fong playing tower defense, where he's just like, you take out that guard. You take out that guard. You. That guard over there, take him out.
These are all new guards.
Yeah,
which is my favorite thing. And throughout the film, we've had the same guards over and over again. And I get if you would have shifts, so we just haven't seen the night shift, I guess. But we're supposed to believe there's like a crew of 5 people in the cult. But now apparently those guys were on union, so they don't work past 8 p.m. or something. And
they got to turn in their skin tight tank tops before they head home.
It's like all new people. The tank top guys were a major play in the film. They're not a major play in the end scene.
No.
Let's pull over here. Wait for the others. Fix, take out that guard. You know what you're supposed to do? Good luck.
No, what's going on here? All this extra security. Yeah, false alarm, you know. Hold on, brother. Will, what the? Come
on. And then we get a shocking moment of violence. The movie goes full fucking drive out of nowhere.
I rewound that scene like 7 times. I was like, is that tuna?
So like one of the dudes from the car grabs Leo Fong and says something akin to like, mess up my car, I'll kill you, basically chokes Leo Fong for a considerable time before Leo Fong just kind of knocks him to the ground. And then Leo Fong just squishes his entire head. It's this shocking moment of violence from a movie where the violence has all been pretty like silly and standard fighting stuff. I don't even think there's been like a ton of blood in the movie, but this guy's head explodes like an old pumpkin.
It's like garbanzo beans
fucking
or something.
hideous.
It's wild.
Oh my god! And Leo Fong puts on the most emotion he's had, where he's just like, which I guess you would when you killed a man with the bottom of your foot. Like that was the coolest part of the whole movie, man. Like he should have put that in at the beginning. I would have bought he was a badass for the rest of this movie after that.
That infight was so kind of you fall on the floor. You know, that type of thing. When that scene came up, it just, what?
Yeah.
I just rewound it. I was like, that is nuts.
It's badass. You're right. I'm with you 100% that this last shootout, it reminds me a lot of Cocaine Wars.
Yeah.
Where all the action's been fun, cool, I mean, interesting and silly. And then the last one is a bunch of people standing against black backgrounds, shooting guns off screen, and then other people kneeling against black backgrounds, falling down. And that's just basically it. Just this mishmash of people shooting and people falling down. Are they close to each other? Are they even shooting in the right directions at each other? Who knows? They're just dead or shooting. And then that one guy gets his fucking face stepped in. It brings you right back to what you want, man.
Rushes her out from the building.
Knocks her out. Just doesn't put up with any shit from her.
Yeah, she's in the hospital bed and she's struggling against him when he's trying to pick her up. So he just backhands her, knocks her out, throws her over his shoulder and walks out.
Not even a moment of, no. I'm not one of them. I'm here to save you. Just no. Leo Fong don't put up with any shit. No.
He's there for a paycheck.
So does anything else happen before
the blind? We have.
Oh yeah, Karma and what's his name? Cameron Mitchell.
Karunda. Yarakunda.
Yarakunda.
Yeah, Karma totally gives Yarakunda the old of mice and men treatment.
Yeah, think of the rabbits.
And why does she do that exactly?
I guess he quit providing her with circus peanuts.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I got nothing. She's just
the only thing I could figure out why is that he was about to be arrested or be killed because, well, it had to have been because he's blind. He wasn't aware of what they were doing to the people around them, I guess.
Well, he did seem to be ignorant about the terror camp being run by
really wholesome
Karma.
bad guy.
Yeah. He keeps asking, like, why do we need more security? It really seems like it's all her. Like his intentions are pure and noble, and she's the one turning
like
it
he
into
started
this
a thing and she infiltrated and took it over.
It's the Rajneesh story. I'm telling you, it's OSHA. I mean, I'm sure people would, give different opinions on that, but that's what I kept thinking of the whole time. This is the Rajneesh thing, man. So instead of being a vow of silence, he's just blind. And
we do get my favorite. I don't know. It's hilarious. I don't think it's my favorite part when the whole time Karma has been getting progressively more annoyed by Yarakunda, by Cameron Mitchell. Like at first she's just like kind of when he's talking, and then she starts like telling, like mouthing for him to shut up, and then she's putting her fingers in her ears, but then she gets into bed with him, and we find out that he never takes off the black hood. He just has his shirt off, and he's just got the black hood and the giant glasses in bed.
He's looking sexy as hell, I gotta tell you.
Cameron Mitchell was like, we're not showing what my hair looks like. No, I'm wearing this hood 24/7 on this movie.
And you're not seeing my bloodshot, alcohol-soaked eyes either.
It's like, I only removed this part of it. And that was hysterical for him to have just the black hood on and nothing else.
So yeah, if they were doing sex, I still don't understand why she killed him.
I don't even know if they were doing sex. I mean, it seems like it. Don't get me wrong. It's weird. I don't know. How does she die? She has to die, and I really don't remember she does.
I think that's in Low Blow too. I think.
Oh, blow lower.
Low blow 2, the other testicle.
So
I don't remember what happens to Karma if she lives or dies.
She's gonna shoot him in the face and then ends up shooting him in the chest, which seems like if you're trying to really not, because she's talking about how they're gonna go to some place where the sun always shines, and
she's crying.
it's like,
Yeah, she's
you would
very
think
emotional.
that she doesn't want him to be in pain, but then she shoots him at his lower extremities. Like, I mean,
It was a merciful
You know,
gut shot.
Get out the last bits of your philosophy on the floor.
God.
What was that?
Just the dog.
A dog? My child. Where are you taking me?
Someplace where the sun always shines.
Oh, it's fine. Always the sun, the light over the darkness. Is the path clear?
Oh, yes. It looks it to me. Didn't you know it would be?
I always like to have you check it in my
So thankfully, like any good, any of the fun bad movies, once it's kind of over, they just rush to the end.
Yeah.
Thankfully, because we get the woman back, give her back to Troy Donahue. Leo Fong gets the money where he just pays everybody, and then he hops in his car. And Jay, how does
with his girly friend, because they're going to go to Vegas or something.
He says we're going to go to Vegas. She says, "Well, what about our bills?" And
this will pay that.
Just starts the car. Like he's not going to deal, because earlier he wouldn't pay the bill. You remember he says, "Yeah, tell the bank checks in the mail." Like it's all, Big Trouble in Little China.
But it won't start. Wah, wah, wah.
Yeah, and then we just have credits as the car keeps trying to rev over. Hilarious. Like it's kind of inept-ish, or inept, no, not ish, but inept as this movie is, the car, the shitty car joke should be put in a really good movie. Like I think that could flow seamlessly to like a really good movie.
The car's the best character.
It really
the
is.
most consistent performer for sure.
And ending the movie with the car not starting and the credits going by with for a movie that's been wall-to-wall music, to end it with just a car engine turning over, hilarious. Absolutely hilarious. Like that was fantastic. Like actually very well done.
Okay, so I got to ask you fellas, who was your favorite henchman? Or henchwoman? Was it Fuzzy, Corky, Cody, Sticks, or Chico?
Well, those names mean nothing to me.
I remember who Fuzzy is. He's the big guy who overturned the poker table. But the other ones, I don't. I'm guessing Chico might be the knife fighter with the.
Well, he's a good guy though.
Well, right.
Or maybe he's the one who's fighting the good guy.
Anyway, just from those names alone, Fuzzy, Corky, Cody, Sticks, or Chico.
I'll go with Sticks.
Sticks? Okay. How about you, Jay?
Let's go with Cody.
Okay.
Good choice.
Fuzzy's
Good
my
choice.
favorite, man, just because he's the only one that I know who he is. And he's this giant guy who can't stand to lose at poker. So, yeah, definitely. Any great quotes, favorite quotes, care to mention?
Man, it's kind of hard to...
My favorite quote was the philosophy dialogue. That part was...
Yeah, everything Cameron Mitchell said at all.
The water over the stone, like oh my God.
Talk about his accent.
Oh, yeah. Leo
Eric
Fong's
is extremely racist.
Leo Fong's accent. The dude was born in China in the 1920s, and like half the time he sounds like a man who was born in China in the 1920s, but the other half of the time he's got what sounds to me like a Texan accent. And that's...
I didn't notice. I didn't pick it up at all.
I didn't either. I
That's
could hardly hear him. For most of it.
Well, yeah, a lot of the dialogue was mumbled and muddled, but I picked up on it. Eric picked up on it. Like it was like the pretty authentic sounding Texas accent. Like I found that to be confusing.
Better than Still Breathing, for sure. Without me even noticing it, I'm going to say it's better than Brendan Fraser and Still Breathing. Probably better than Dawson and Varsity Blues.
Probably better even. I don't want your life. I'm sorry, I did it better than him. I'm sorry.
I liked the part when, as far as quotes go, when his secretary gets him some flowers. So there's something growing in his flower vase other than mold. And he goes, I'm allergic to it.
Get it out
And
of
the
here.
seed cuts. It just immediately. That's all he says about it. I'm allergic to it.
Get him out of here.
Yeah, get him out of here. Boom. Cut to the end of the seed. That was pretty funny. Though his fantastic one-liner, forget the sandwich.
Yes.
I mean, that's up there with I lied.
Yeah, the two comic relief, the drunk guys who are always drinking Budweiser with the label pointed forward. At one point, one of them said, "Where's the pisser? Or maybe I just piss on you."
Yeah. Right before Mop Boy beats
Right
him
before
up.
they get wiped out of there.
So yeah, that's about all the really memorable quotes. Any final thoughts or things that we learned from Low Blow? I'll start off by saying I have learned that a tough man contest will solve most problems.
I guess in that same vein, I've learned that a squished head will solve most movies.
No, there is no compound you can attack without a river.
This movie's on YouTube, but you said there was like some kind of problem where it had some kind of square of crap
there's
on it.
another one. There's two.
There's two versions.
They're
so it's
on
on the
there.
YouTube.
And I don't think you'll be disappointed watching either version. And but if you track down the tape to pay for it, you might be a little disappointed. Spending money on it. More than what? It's worth $3.
Wow.
$3 tape.
That's too rich for my blood.
No, it's pretty cool. I think this one looked great on the shelf.
High thumbs up. Yeah, this is near the top of the ones we've done. Yeah,
I liked it better than Cocaine Wars.
I would agree. It's very similar to Cocaine Wars, and I think it's the more fun movie.
It's like a little bit more inept, but it's more fun. It's got a little more heart. I think.
What makes Cocaine Wars boring? They just put lead guitar over it in this one.
But they both have, as the starring character, a shitty car. So maybe the real lesson is a shitty car will solve any action movie.
Wait till you see Driving Me Crazy. The movie about fueling cars on potatoes.
Ooh, the
don't
future.
Worry. I hope to never view that and talk about it. So, but it goes against your point. I'm just saying you're not right, Justin. Okay, you're not right. You are not right about that formula.
Damn it.
Well, I guess that's it for Video Burnouts this week. I'm going to take you out with a very low blow.
Ooh, uncorking it. What is this? A 99?
You're the talent, baby.
Nah, I thought I was like.
Anything else?
Hey, dude, if maybe someday Negro Modelo will send me some beer, that'd be dope.
Dude, yeah, man.
I gotta be honest, that tastes really good.
Dude, those are so good. You don't even need lime, but it's even better with lime.
Whatever. Fucking, I regret saying that I liked it.
Said I regret saying I liked it.
Whatever.
No, really, if you put it down.
But, you know, that's a different thing.
He's like, where are you right now?
Besides Earth. He's an acid man right now. Yeah, I'm on acid. That's where I am.
Is that all right? Is that what kind of drugs you're doing?
Yeah, drug, fucking hay, everything.
Beer. Who are you here to see tonight?
Your mother.
Okay, we're good.
Please close your eyes. Be completely relaxed. Let your mind receive the truth as only Yarakunda knows it. Open. Receive. Be completely relaxed. Let go past memories, no matter how bitter, no matter how sweet. Let it go. Let it go. Only the truth of Yarakunda can bring you peace. Only Yarakunda's truth can bring you love. Only Yarakunda's truth can bring you enlightenment. The truth that is. Yarakunda. 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 Yarakunda.